Hello St Andrews, my name is Mikesh and I'm the editor of the Albany Parker. I'm joined here today with David Patterson, presidential candidate. David, thanks for coming here.
Not at all, thanks for having me.
I know Albany's a long way, so I appreciate you making the long journey here.
Oh, it's a wonderful walk. It's a nice day as well.
So, I think a common concern amongst students is about student politics is the way students pretend to be, proper national politicians, acting like politicians, having PR teams, having photo shoots. And so if you're going to act like a politician, I think my readers want to see you grilled like a politician.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do here today.
Andrew Marr on me then, are you?
Maybe. Okay, let's begin with Mr. St Andrews. Okay. This is an event which has been described in this paper as lad culture in the name of charity. The Saints editorial team claimed girls from AU clubs are being pressured into acting as a stripper. Becky Thomas, writing in The Saint, said, "It is a symptom of chronic misogyny plaguing our student population." Do you regret being a judge for Mr. St Andrews?
I think you should regret being involved in anything that raises money for charity fundamentally. I think the event, the incident, obviously things happened that were regrettable, but I think the way that it was dealt with, certainly by the Rag Week coordinator and by the Charities Committee, was, in my view, good and proper. And also I think you have to remember that there has to be always be a good deal of respect whenever you're doing anything that has St Andrew's name on it, and so although unfortunate things happened, I think it was handled in a good way, and I think that it was dealt with properly. And
on a Bubble TV video, you described it as fun, frolic. You also went on to say the sex position one is going to be excellent, I have no doubt. Do you still stand? Do you still stand by those statements?
Well, it was a fun evening, and I think that, of course, when there's ever a sexual element, you have to be careful and make sure that it's obviously, as I said before, respectful. But it certainly was good fun, and the days.
Do you think it was sexist?
I don't necessarily.
To both genders?
I think it's unfair to obviously try and event sexist when in the past obviously it's happened so much, and I think it's happened before. And I think, as I said before, I think it's just important that you obviously maintain respect. I think everyone entered into it with fully consenting to what was going to happen and was aware of what the event was. I mean, there was nothing that was new this year that wasn't done the year before. So, as president, you would do nothing to change the event as it currently stands? I think next year, obviously, the redevelopment is going to change a lot of what's going to happen. But I think, as I said before, the event, if it goes ahead next year, it has to be respectful, and obviously it has to be fully aware of what they're entering into. Okay, I see. As I think they were this year. Okay, let's move on, as there's a lot to cover. Let's go back 3.5 years to your first year. Tell me about your best experience. At St Andrews?
Yes.
My academic family. I had two wonderful parents who actually are now engaged, believe it or not.
Oh, right.
Yeah, to one another. My academic mum and dad were heavily involved with the debating society, and they introduced me to a lot of really good friends I'm still friends with today, and they definitely had an impact on me and how I've kind of treated my own academic family and how I viewed that. That was definitely the most enjoyable experience. But as a side point to that, like living in DRA, making friends there that I did, in the kind of nature of St Andrews' close-knit community was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Okay. What did you dislike most in your first year, and how would you change that as president? I suppose the thing that not necessarily that you dislike most, the thing that's certainly hardest about coming to university for anyone is moving away. I mean, it's a big emotional change, and it's definitely something that you have to attune to. Fundamentally, you're making a big emotional journey. And so that's hard. So I suppose the way you can tackle that as president is obviously making sure that people know they're welcome, that they're safe, that they're happy. So for example, in the new halls that are being built, we want to make sure there's a Wardinial and pastoral team introduced there to make sure that first years who perhaps don't deal with the transition as well as others are supported. I see, okay. I think you are well known for your admiration of JFK, if I'm correct. You've done our homework. This is true, yes. I'm an admirer of Kennedy, yeah. Why? What about him? Why wouldn't you admire him? I mean, look at the hair. Is that something you've tried to mimic? No, I think it's the era, the 1960s, the era, and also the kind of revolution in politics with the introduction of media and Kennedy's take on it. But there's also something fascinating about the kind of eternal promise of a president that never was. You know what I mean? The president obviously cut down in the middle of his youth, and something that's just, I don't know, it's endlessly fascinating. Let's hope that doesn't happen to you. Oh, I would love that. That'd be wonderful. Immortalised. Town and gown relations. This is an issue that has constantly come up.
Although in recent months and recent years, it seems to have become a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on it? And how can we improve it?
There are two aspects to that. So obviously, on the one hand, you have the fact that obviously the student population is transient. So we're only here for 4 years or 5, depending, or 1 if you're a postgrad, and then you move on. So students don't necessarily have the same attachment that townspeople do. Not to say they don't, they're not as proud or they don't feel as attached to the place, but it's a different kind of attachment. What you have to make sure is you have to make sure you have a clear voice for the student population. So you have to make sure that the locals and the community council don't tar you with one brush and say students think this, and actually you've got to be like, no. It's a very diverse, very fluid group. On the other hand as well, there are some things students have to recognise that we have a direct impact on town. For example, Raisin Weekend, we have to make sure that we're always being, again, going back to the Mrs. Sanders we talked about being respectful. It's important to recognise that we have a place to share with families and also with the kind of the older population of St Andrews, and it's something that we have to kind of make sure we're all passionate about keeping safe and keeping healthy and keeping in good order. Okay,
I see. You are probably best known for your position in Mermaids. You're president there. Tell us about the role, what you do, how much you are actually involved into the day-to-day running of Mermaids.
Well, we have 2 weekly committee meetings, so the committee is made up of 14 individuals, and it's basically our job to try and put on as many plays as we can to fund and to support the arts, performing arts in St Andrews. Also, generally speaking, that means trying to overcome many logistical problems. So the redevelopment itself, trying to actually navigate that, and on a day-to-day basis, you are interacting quite heavily with the shows and with the rehearsal schedules, and also with the social aspects of Mermaids. So our socials that we hold once every 3 weeks, and also our other events like workshops for speakers and for people to try out new skills. So it's a lengthy it's a big job that involves a great deal of teamwork and a great deal of trying to answer logistical problems that the redevelopment throws at us.
And what would you say has been your major achievements in Mermaids this year?
Well, I set out to do 3 things when I ran for Mermaids President last year. I set out to put on the same number of shows as we had last year with redevelopment. We had last year in spite of redevelopment, which we did, and we actually exceeded the number that we put on. I also set out to improve audience numbers, and we've had a great success in that. There's a lot of sell-out shows, and made a great deal of a lot of very financially healthy shows. And then finally to introduce a discount card, or a loyalty card, which we introduced this semester, and it's currently ongoing, giving it to all of our shows. And overall, just to try and professionalise, improve, and increase the visibility of Mermaids, which we've done through a variety of social media things. And I'm very, very proud.
Let's do a bit of a quick fire round now.
Okay.
So the way it works is I'm going to say 2 things, and you have got to say your favourite.
Okay.
Chicken or beef?
Chicken.
Coke, Pepsi.
Diet Coke.
Salmon or Cameron?
JFK.
England or France?
England.
So I know that this university actually has more English students than Scottish ones. And so you don't want to lose the core English vote, but I feel you might have lost your core Scottish vote.
Oh, look, I mean, the Scottish students are capped by Scotland. The Scottish government caps the Scottish students we can get in here, but if you look at the manifesto, you'll see there's quite a lot I want to do about trying to widen Scottish access. So.
Okay. World Cup. Who do you think will win the World Cup in Brazil? Football World Cup.
Definitely not Scotland. Just thinking of our track record, unfortunately.
It'll be quite impressive if they win, considering they're not in the competition.
Well, there you are. There you
are. Financial transparency is another big issue in the university. I think, and I've been here 4 years, and I have no idea how the union is funded, where the SRC gets their money from, how much of my tuition fees or accommodation fees, if any, is going to your budget, or how much the university gives, or where the money comes from.
But
can you shed some light on that?
The accounts are all publicly available. The union's audited, obviously, and keeps it at
publicly available online?
No, online. You have to go in and request them in the Student Association.
Why can't you make it put it online for people to see?
If you're interested and you want to know the details, there's nothing to stop you from going in to request them. It's perfectly within your right to go in and have a look, and you'll see obviously that they're perfectly well in order. And obviously most of the, for example, all the Mermaid shows, our accounts are all.
If you want to make it accessible, why not put it online?
If you really want to see it, you go in and find it out yourself.
But I mean, if you really want to show us, you would put it online. I mean, I'm sure you've got nothing to hide. So why?
Yet, so I don't have anything to hide yet.
Not yet, anyway. But so I mean, I don't see the problem of putting them online. There seems to be a sort of culture of financial secrecy in this university.
I would disagree
Hall
with
committee
that.
spending
I would disagree with that.
is very notoriously hard to get hold of.
Mm.
The SRC, their budget, their
The
spending.
SRC budget's changed this year. The SRC no longer have individual budgets per petitions. They have an SRC discretionary fund. So any member that wants to come and any member of the SRC, so for example, say SRC Environment and Ethics wants to run a campaign to make 50% of classes paperless, for example.
Yeah.
They go to the SRC and they propose this budget and they show the spending, and the SRC discretionary fund gives that to them. That's something that's coming new this year. So that's to centralise the money, and I believe it's £3,000. I'm not sure, maybe more than that. But again, if you want to double check, you can go in and find out for yourself.
So, as president, let's just get this straight, you will not be putting the accounts online.
I don't see, if there's a great demand for them to put online, then I don't see why. I don't see a problem with folk going to find them themselves. I mean, the information is there, and that's a legal requirement of any charity.
Sure. Okay. Final question, and you can address this to the good people of St Andrews. Why are you the right man for the job?
The reason I'm the right man for the job is because you're electing an association president, someone who's actually got hands-on. You need someone who's actually got hands-on experience of working in the union, particularly this year of negotiating redevelopment, but also someone that's got backbone and someone that's willing and able to put their voice across strongly. And the experience I've had in St Andrews on the community council, within the SSC, sorry, is exactly the kind of experience that you need. I'm also someone that's willing to stand up for the students, and also someone that's very, very willing and keen to work with the university. And also just the passion that I have for St Andrews and the passion I have for the students here is one that I really want to be able to put to good use. I mean, you don't do it for the salary, you do it because you love the job, because you want to do it.
Okay, David Patterson, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.